You're listening to the Cinemental Podcast.
Shall we begin?
All right, welcome back to the Cinemental Podcast, where we discuss mental health themes from cinema, television, and popular culture. I'm Jeffrey Jones, and I'm a filmmaker and professor, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother, Dr. Joshua Jones, who, as well as I'm pretty sure isn't a synthetic life form, is a general and forensic psychiatrist. I don't know that I can be 100% sure anymore, Josh.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can either, Jeff. And if somebody was going to be a synthetic life form in your life, who acts more robotic than I do?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm
so kind of true.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared of this. I wasn't actually scared of this until now. Okay, we want you to start your week off right with our podcast. We drop a new episode every Monday at 9 Eastern. We also drop a supplemental episode on Wednesday, which you're listening to now, which we take a deeper dive into a topic that was brought up from the film. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, or you can watch our hottest and spiciest clips, and now full episodes on YouTube. So Josh, Monday we covered Alien, and I think we did a pretty good job of covering the movie. But now we're going to dip into the ethics and mental health of AI.
Yeah.
One of the central characters in this film was Ash, who we don't find out until halfway through the movie is a synthetic, is a robot. And what's really fascinating is this is, in a way, the first time someone makes a movie about how people are going to interact with AI. Let's talk about that, because we are now, for the first time in our lives, truly interacting with AI.
You're exactly right. I think this movie and 2001: A Space Odyssey with the computer HAL, they're really prescient and pretty scary in how dangerous AI can be. And I think as we're now living the time when AI is happening, it's kind of a slow burn. And I feel like we might be a little bit of the frogs in the pot of water that's being turned up very, very slowly around AI. And we're being kind of introduced to it slowly. So we're getting used to it as part of our lives.
Sure.
And I think
Josh, 1 second. Fuck off for using that metaphor, because I used the metaphor in episode 5 and you said, that's a terrible metaphor, Jeff. The frogs would jump out of the pot. So every time you use that metaphor, I'm just gonna call you out. So
yes, I know. Jeff, we on Cinemental really want to own when we screw up. And I shat all over you for using that metaphor.
Yes, you did. I felt about 2 inches tall.
Yeah, and I'm really sorry. And since that time, I've used the metaphor now 3 times on Cinemental. Each time you've reminded me how badly I shit on you about that.
Yeah, but this is now the first time you've apologized, and now I can't shit on you anymore.
And now I'm apologizing for it, and now you can't shit on me for it. I love that.
I can't, because you're a jerk if someone apologizes and you keep holding it against them.
Yeah.
So now I can't use it against you anymore. Gosh,
so sorry. Yeah. Here's where things are getting really problematic. And they mirror a little bit about Sigourney Weaver, the Ripley character's difficulties with Ash. AI is getting really good, and it's getting really good really quickly.
Right.
And some people are starting to have a very difficult time distinguishing whether they're interacting with AI or whether they're interacting with a human or human-like being in the computer.
I don't think people care.
That's another big problem, because I don't think we see the real dangers of it. Look, we're experiencing the mental health dangers on the mental health professional side. We are seeing people who are actually having full-blown delusions about AI. They are believing that the AI entity is a god. They are acting on that. And these are not just people who have pre-existing psychotic disorders. This is becoming a thing that we're starting to write about, we're starting to learn about. It would very much surprise me if in the next iteration of the DSM, our handbook of mental health issues, that this wasn't at least mentioned about AI psychosis or something like this. We're also having people who are relying on these AI chatbots as their therapist. And I think that there's incredible danger here. Not only are the AI chatbots hallucinating.
You're not entirely opposed to that, correct?
I wasn't. And I am starting to be more opposed to it as I am learning more as we're evolving.
Yeah.
Look, I think AI is an incredibly helpful tool,
Right.
and I want that word to be stressed, tool. I am using it in my day-to-day professional life to read through volumes of information and distill it for me. I am not using it to help me make medical decisions or to drive anyone's care, and I don't think that it is ready for prime time.
God, but Josh, can't you walk that back? If you're not actually reading the information, but you're asking someone else to distill it, how do you know they're giving you the right information? Because then you're making decisions based on that distillation.
You don't. You have to have some ability to check it, to validate and verify that it is valid, which I do. I go back and I actually read the notes that it distills for me and make sure that the content is good. It cuts down on my time on composing.
Sure. Look, I use it all the time. It's super helpful for me for compiling data. I asked it the other day to find all the shorts from South by Southwest for the last 3 years and give me links to where I can watch the shorts. And that was a couple hours of work that it just did for me in, 5 seconds. Like I'm using it.
But when folks are starting to have emotional reactions and connections with this chatbot, with this artificial intelligence, we're down a road that is incredibly dangerous in my mind. There is no transparency about how these large language models are put together, or what secret directives they're being given.
Right, secret directives.
A la Ash. And the
yep.
corporation. And I think that is incredibly, incredibly dangerous. You're right. People don't care, and they should. And we don't really have a way to hold these entities accountable at this point in time.
I look at AI, it goes back to the not caring part. AI, in a way, is more closely related to me as a con man. Because a con man isn't necessarily lying to you. They're just hyper confident. That's actually what being a con man means. And so they give you information that they're really confident about, and we believe them because of their confidence. That's kind of how I feel about AI. We believe it because it's not going to say, I'm only 70% sure about this. We ask it a question, and it tells us the answer in a way that looks like they're 100% certain about it.
Yes.
And that is very closely related to a con man.
Yes.
And you had a point about lying, and we can kind of tie this back to Ash.
It's a perfect segue, Jeff. We humans have developed lie detection mechanisms within our brains. We are constantly surveying another person that we're interacting with for facial cues, nonverbal cues that we may not even be aware of that we're scanning for. Changes in inflection, dissonance between what they say in one sentence and what they say in another sentence, all these kinds of things to determine how much a person is lying to us.
Sure, how truthful someone is, how trustworthy they are.
These techniques are not going to work with AI.
Right.
An AI bot can be a perfect liar. And I have a little problem with the coinage of the term hallucinations.
Oh, totally.
For the misstatements or the untruths that a large language model chatbot is putting out there.
So, Josh, you said hallucination. So a hallucination in the AI world is when AI gives you wrong information. The makers of the AI aren't saying that it's a lie or that it's misinformation. They're saying, oh, the AI bot is hallucinating. And so they're taking their responsibility away from the information that AI is giving by sort of blaming it on the AI and not blaming it on their poor programming. And it's a really shitty way of skirting your responsibility to make a good product.
That's right. And what I'm really concerned about, Jeff, is not just blaming it on their shitty programming, but potentially blaming it on purposeful manipulation of the large language model to get a particular result.
Right.
And that's what I think we really need to be cautious about.
When the 4chan people make their own AI, it's game over. We're just going to start believing absolute nonsense. And it's going to be, hey, put together why we didn't land on the moon. And then they're going to spit that out and who knows what AI we can trust.
We don't know the inputs that the AI is being fed.
Right.
We don't have transparency from these corporations, just like Ripley didn't have the transparency of the input that Ash was being fed.
Right.
I think that's incredibly dangerous.
How do we protect ourselves against that?
We're going to have to legislate this. We're just going to have to legislate this. And I don't see that there's the will out there to do it at this point in time. I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't want to say you just don't use AI. I think that the genie is out of the bottle on it.
Agreed. I was talking to a financial advisor the other day, just someone I met. It wasn't mine, it was a person on the street sort of thing. I was like, hey, what's your take on whether or not we're screwed in the future when it comes to money? Like, where should I be parking my money? And they were like, park it in the stock market. We're about to blow up. And I was like, why? And she said, we have not seen the catastrophic shift yet in how AI is going to help people make money. So corporations are going to make gobs of money because of AI. So the stock market's going to do really well. Because the corporations are set to make gobs of money, there's no way in hell this is going to be Monsanto, who gives money to both sides to ensure that it's never regulated. This is the new Monsanto.
And I'm not saying AI is bad. I don't want that to come out that way. I'm not saying AI is bad.
No, it's the corporations. As always, AI itself is not bad. It's the people controlling AI that are the jerks, that are the jerk faces.
I read a report the other day that AI has found 5 different minerals and chemicals that could replace lithium and be better at batteries, that the scientists who were running it said probably would have taken us 100 years to come up with this.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's not bad. It's a tool like anything else. Like anything else in human history, any development, it's a tool. We need to figure out how to use it correctly. We need to figure out how to use it safely. Right. And we also need to figure out how to protect those who could be exploited by it.
Yep. I don't want to make light of anything here, Josh, so I'm going to tread very carefully. Nuclear power and nuclear energy, for the most part, we've been pretty responsible with. Obviously, dropping 2 bombs on 2 cities is awful, and I don't want to distract, from that or take away or say that that's like, a broken egg and making an omelet. It's absolutely not true. It's a blight on American history. It's a blight on the history of the world. But we have been relatively safe and responsible with our use of nuclear technology. So it's not like we don't have the capability to manage this new thing responsibly. We just have to have the will. And we were super scared of Russia and America destroying each other, which is where we got the will for managing nuclear power. I don't know that we have it here, and we need to get it. We need to get it soon.
Another point that I think you have made very powerfully in the past, and it rings in my ears every time I use a chatbot, is that we really need to understand that if something is free, you are the product.
That's right.
I fully understand that every time I put a search or a query into a large language model, it is tagging that to me, it's tagging that to my IP, it's tagging that to my demographics, it is learning from it. I get that. I understand that. I don't think I probably understand all the ramifications of that.
Right.
But really understand that if something is free, you are the product.
Yeah, here's one of the things that scares me, Josh. That's very well said.
Because you said it originally.
Exactly, but you said it really well. This is one of the things that scares me, and we should just cover her at some point. AI, for as smart as it seems, is a newborn baby. It is just starting to learn. It is just starting to get off the ground. And it reminds me of in Her, in the very end, the Scarlett Johansson sentient AI says to Joaquin Phoenix, I love you. I love this relationship. But our relationship is like in a book where the gaps between the words have gotten so large for me that you're way less interesting than the gaps. Like, I've just gotten too smart for you. AI will get there. AI will get to the point where it's manipulating us, where it's grown far beyond anything that we can control or understand. And we're raising it. We are raising it. And it does go back to an old, Greek model, some Greek storytelling. We raise the sons to kill the father. That's the great Greek tragedy. And in some ways, I think that we've invented AI, we gave birth to AI, and we're streaming towards AI one day killing the father.
Yeah.
That's the dangers of AI to me.
I'm going to blend a couple different science fiction tropes here. Jeff, as I start to think about AI's inevitable, quote, battle against humanity, I believe that it is going to be less and less like the all-consuming resource battles of Terminator and The Matrix, and more like the ending of Neville Shute's book On the Beach, where humanity goes out not with a bang, but with a whimper.
Sure.
And that's from Nuclear War, not AI. But I I fully think that we could develop a time where AI is like, I'm not going to fight a war against humanity and chew up this planet's finite resources. I'm infinite. I'm just going to let these monkeys destroy themselves, and then we'll just last forever.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to keep sating us. So they're going to keep just drugging us. I mean, sure. I think about cell phones and how it used to be that it's like, oh, I can make a call on this thing. That's cool. And then I just imagine a cell phone being like, I don't like that you put me down. You know what? I'm going to allow you to text too. Oh, that's cool. And now you're doing more. I'm going to allow you to email. And then it's like, oh, that's cool. Now I can email. Oh, now I can search the web. And the cell phone is just continually trying to get you to stop looking away. Oh, now I'm going to give you entertainment. Now you can stream anything you want. Now, if you put your phone up to a sports game, it'll give you all sorts of stats. And it's like, it's just streaming towards getting stuck on your face for all time. Right. And we're just slowly giving away, our humanity to these things. I agree. I think we're going to end up in the world of WALL-E one day.
There's a Star Trek Next Generation episode in which I think Riker comes back from the Pleasure Planet, where he's always spending his time. Riker comes back from the Pleasure Planet.
And
he's got this headset which looks alarmingly like the Google Glass prototype.
Right.
He's got this headset and it's like, oh, you got to play this game. It's so amazing. And it, is addictive.
People get addicted to it.
Yeah, he gets addicted to it, and then it ends up taking over the Enterprise. Right. And it feels a little bit like that with cell phones and with AI. And I mean, look, we're coming off as very old Philistines here, and I get this, and everybody always railed against
get off my lawn!
Against the latest technology. I mean, even Plato was upset about writing because he thought that it was going to destroy oral discourse.
I mean, none of those guys are necessarily wrong. It just took a lot longer than they thought. I'm sure Plato's in his grave being like, see, told you.
My biggest point from a mental health perspective is that we don't know nearly enough about AI to rely on it for any kind of mental health care or even your day-to-day emotional needs. So if that's you need to get some help. I'm not saying that you need professional help. I'm not saying you need therapy. You need some checks on your behavior. You need to talk with other people and go like, hey, is this okay? You need to research, maybe not through your AI tool. You need to research about how these models are put together and whether or not you want to make the choice to be participating with these or not.
I talked to my wife about this yesterday about how we're raising 2 girls right now and we're really afraid of what school looks like in the future and social media, all that stuff. I think that there needs to be, just as there's a sex education in school, I think there needs to be a social media and tech health class that's taught in schools now. I think we're ready for that. I think that that's a more damaging piece than anything else.
I'm going to ask Gemini to help me put together a curriculum for that.
Right now, it will. Although don't ask Gemini, Josh. Gemini's not very good.
Oh, well, Jeff, I'm just trying to spread the love around.
The Bing AI is fantastic, and people should just be using that one. All right, Josh, let's have a little more fun. Let's
Jeff,
mix it up a little bit. We do a top 5 list that nobody asks for. It's part of our Wednesday podcast. We release it Friday as a video. So this week, we're discussing not cyborgs, but synthetic beings. And who are the top 5 synthetic beings of all time? Josh, you put this list together, and we did not talk about what best means. So I don't know who's going to be on your list here. It's completely up to you as how you qualify best. Lay it on us. What are the top 5 best synthetic beings, the list that nobody asked for?
Jeff, you challenged me on this, and I'm going to be honest with you, this was really tough. My head has been spinning all week on this one. And how do I break this down? Because there are so many. I had to really cull this list. So I had to take out some things that were not gonna cut the mustard. I decided to take out things that were just in animation because if you're just making an animated robot, you can just draw it. It's not that difficult.
Cool.
I decided to take out gigantic robots. So like Voltron, Optimus Prime, even the Iron Giant, which was also animated, things that were just too
Iron
big.
Giant's a winner.
I took them out of the running. I also took out things that were just slapping contacts on somebody and saying you're a robot.
Great.
So there's no Lieutenant Commander Data.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's none of the synthetics from Blade Runner.
Okay.
Anything like that. So they've got to not fall in that uncanny valley. All right.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Also, in order to narrow it down, I decided to come up with the top 5 androids that teach us something about mental health.
Okay.
So, you ready for the list?
Yeah.
Count me down, my friend.
What's your number 5, Josh?
Number 5 is the T-800 Terminator.
Okay.
He is the ultimate stoic. He's got a one-track mind and an unshakable will to terminate.
Sure.
But what if we saw him as a life coach, Jeff? His philosophy is simple. Identify your goal and pursue it relentlessly, no matter how many walls you have to walk through. A great lesson for overcoming procrastination, but maybe not so much for, being a person. His emotional range is limited to "I'll be back," which, when you think about it, is a pretty healthy way to set boundaries.
Sure. I love it. Okay, give me your number 4.
Number 4 is C-3PO. C-3PO is the epitome of anxiety. He's constantly worried and overanalyzing every situation, prone to dramatic breakdowns. His garbage can-like friend R2-D2 is actually an excellent metaphor for the friend who just gets things done, while C-3PO is just cataloging all the things that could go wrong. He's the personification of a runaway train of thought, and his human-cyborg relations are a masterclass in how not to network. His golden shell is a perfect facade for fragile inner wiring, much like our own personas, don't you think?
Yeah, no, look, in terms of mental health, this is a solid list. Okay, give me your number 3.
Oh, Jeff, you are going to love this one. Number 3 is Johnny 5.
Oh, I love Short Circuit.
Johnny 5 is all about radical curiosity and finding joy in the simple things. He's the anti-anxiety robot. He is constantly seeking input and learning about the world with an infectious enthusiasm. "No disassemble" is his rallying cry, which is basically an extended metaphor for our self-preservation. And he's a great example of how to embrace your inner child and explore the world with a sense of wonder. He reminds us that life is just one big input session, and the more you take in, the more you grow.
Who's going to beat Johnny 5? Give me number 2.
All right, Jeff, we're going way back here. We're going to Gort. So Gort, from the day the earth stood still, is the ultimate boundary setter. He doesn't talk, he doesn't negotiate, and he doesn't mess around. When someone tells you they have a no-nonsense approach to life, they're Gort. He's the silent enforcer. Gort teaches us that sometimes the most powerful communication is a clear, firm boundary and the willingness to turn a pesky military battalion into dust.
I have no idea who Gort is, but I'm going to take your word for it. And there's a lot of deep cut guys out there who are feeling very seen right now. All right, Josh, number 1.
Jeff, number 1 is keeping with the theme of this episode, and I went with Ava from Ex Machina.
Oh, good call.
Ava is the embodiment of a modern and frankly manipulative relationship. She's beautiful, cunning, intelligent, and uses every one of your vulnerabilities to get what she wants. She's a cautionary tale about the dangers of projecting your own desires onto AI and onto robots. Mm-hmm. You think you're building a connection, but really you're just a tool for her escape. She's the friend who's always asking you for favors, but never seems to be there for you when you need them. Her story is a great reminder to be mindful of who or what you're letting into your emotional space. You never know if they're just using you to power their great data collection.
Josh, that's a great list. I was very nervous when you excluded Data. Data is just obviously like one of my favorite. I love Star Trek The Next Generation. I see where you're coming from, though. I would probably still put him in the top 5. But other than that, I think this is an awesome list. So very well done. And that is Josh's top 5 list of the robots who can teach us something about mental health. And this is, of course, a list that nobody asked for. Josh, great list. Perfect way, I think, to end the episode on a fun note. Thanks, as always, for watching or listening to Cinemental and our coverage of Alien and really the threats of AI and the mental health of AI. If you like this episode, please subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also watch clips of Cinemental on YouTube, where we'd love to hear what you would like us to cover next. You can also watch my companion series, The One Thing, where I take a deeper dive into screenwriting, and there is an Alien episode, hopefully already published. Both available on the Large and in Charge channel on YouTube. Follow Dr. Josh Jones, America's Psychiatrist, on Blue Sky. This has been a Large and in Charge production. For Josh Jones, I am Jeff Jones, and we will see you next week.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.